We're in Germany and not in Switzerland this time to visit one of Germany's true watchmaking gems, Lang Heyne. In the outskirts of Dresden is the manufacture of Lang Heyne, a brand that was founded in 2001. I don't know if you're familiar with the brand, but the architectural bridges and the movement design have always intrigued me. What they do and also how they do it is what makes watchmaking even more interesting. The level of vertical integration, or what is done in-house, is unexpected and surprisingly high. In this building behind me, they make more than 90% of the movement parts in-house, and that remains, even today, a rarity. Lang Heyne's collection has a very classic focus, both in the exterior of the watch as well as the movement design and finishing. Today we'll take a look at the spectacular Anton, and to be precise, the Anton Manufaktur Edition, as a guideline to see what is done in-house. Of course, there are many more stunning watches coming out of the Lang Heyne ateliers. Take for instance the Friedrich II and III, a striking 39mm round watch with a signature triple lug design and a movement that is just gorgeous, especially considering the price. And there's George, a rectangular timepiece that's pretty similar to Anton that we'll be looking at today. However, George comes without a tourbillon, while Anton is equipped with a tourbillon. As said, we'll take the Anton Manufaktur Edition as an example for everything that Lang Heyne does and how they do it. Well, first of all, Anton comes with a tourbillon, but not a normal tourbillon. It's a so-called flying tourbillon. While a normal tourbillon cage is fixed between a main plate and a bridge, a flying tourbillon does not have a bridge to hold down the tourbillon cage. The cage of a flying tourbillon is cantilevered and mounted on ball bearings. This type of tourbillon is more difficult to make and assemble, but the advantage is that you, as the wearer, get to enjoy the tourbillon much better now there is no bridge obstructing the view. Let's start with the construction and assembly of such a delicate and complex regulating organ. And for this we turn to Alexandar Gutierrez, head of assembly and master watchmaker, and in fact one of the longest serving employees for Lang Heyne.
Zu unseren nicht komplizierten Uhren dauert es in etwa 10-mal länger, das Tourbillon zu montieren, als eine einfache Uhr. Genau, weil durch die Konstruktion des Tourbillons man viel mehr Arbeitsschritte verbinden muss. Genau. Wenn ich zum Beispiel den Anker manipulieren möchte, zum Beispiel die Paletten schieben, dann wie gesagt dauert es ca. 10-mal länger. Und ich brauche für das ganze Tourbillon in Summe ca. 4 Tage, 4 bis 5 Tage, nur für das Tourbillon. Genau. Dort beinhaltet es aber auch, dass alle Teile genauestens aufeinander angepasst werden und dass zum Schluss, wenn die Uhr einmal gelaufen ist, der ganze Käfig in sich nochmal ausgebuchtet wird. Also es ist nicht nur so, dass das Tourbillon sich einfach dreht, sondern das ganze System inklusive der Uhr muss in sich ausgebuchtet sein, damit es in keinem Moment, wenn das Tourbillon sich in einer Minute dreht, zu einem Beschleunigen oder zum Abbremsen kommt. Das ist im Grunde genommen die größte Herausforderung bei der Montage des Tourbillons. Also wir haben im Prinzip das Räderwerk gerade gestellt, damit es eine Symmetrieachse ergibt über das ganze Werk. Und natürlich durch die Freistellung hat man einen kompletten Blick auf das Tourbillon, auch seitlich. Wenn man zum Beispiel die polierte Gehäuseinnenwandung betrachtet, sieht man seitlich das Tourbillon. Und das hat man eigentlich sonst so nicht bei der normalen Anton. Also man hat wirklich den direkten Blick komplett auf die ganze Technik, von vorne, von hinten, von der Seite, um ja, die ganze Schönheit des Tourbillons betrachten zu können.
A movement with such complexity needs to be beautifully finished, of course, and for that Lang Heyne goes the extra mile. If you zoom in on the movement construction, you'll notice the swooping curves and the angles of the individual bridges. Such shapes are extremely complex to perfect, especially when it concerns a relatively hard material like steel and polishing it to a mirror-like finish. The steel bridges also offer a striking contrast against a grained and gold-coated main plate. The finger bridges, secured by heat-blued screws, hold gears, springs and levers in place. And the click spring partially wraps around the barrel and can be seen in motion when winding the watch. That is a genuine feast for the eye, with gears that have individually beveled spokes, sunray brushing on the crown and barrel wheel and so on. We're talking to Yvonne Sternberg, Head of Technology, who will explain more about the finishing.
Diese hochglanzpolierte Bombierung, das ist so das High-End, wo auch ein Mitarbeiter, der bei uns angelernt wird und geschult wird, bis zu einem Jahr braucht, bis er tatsächlich für unsere Qualitätsansprüche auch die Parts fertigen kann. Das ist, dauert so, also ein Kloben ist immer ein bisschen unterschiedlich, die sind ja auch unterschiedlich groß. Dauert zwischen 3 und 4 Stunden, und wir haben ja 4. Also das ist schon ein hoher Aufwand, wo man sagen kann, da sind wir ja dann schon bei über einem Tag bis zu 2 Tagen, was nur der Mitarbeiter an einem Set Kloben sitzt für 1 Uhr. Aber wir wollen diesen hohen Aufwand und wir wollen diese hochpolierten Flächen und wir wollen diese Qualität eben für jeden Käufer, dass das immer gleich ist, und das bedeutet halt dann auch, dass wir den hohen Zeitaufwand. Der Tourbillon-Käfig ist sehr detailliert. Das ist so die große Herausforderung für den Mitarbeiter, der das bei uns fertigt, weil scharfe Kanten einfach auch scharf bleiben müssen. Also wenn ich Rundungen habe, die aber in eine Kante übergehen, dann soll das auch scharfkantig bleiben. Und dann wird noch ein Umfangsschliff angebracht, plus dann die Zinnpolitur von Hand, dass er eben hochglanzpoliert schwarz poliert ist. Also Zinnpolitur heißt ja auch Schwarzpolitur, dass man in einem bestimmten Licht, wenn man das einspiegelt, quasi die Politur schwarz aussieht. Das ist dann das High-End. Ja, genau. Und da gibt's halt mehrere Teile davon, die werden alle gleich behandelt, weil beim Tourbillon sieht man ja beide Seiten. Also gibt's ja einen Boden und eine Decke.
All this culminates in Anton Manufaktur Edition, a watch that almost reveals all its secrets in the front and the back. Its flying tourbillon escapement is seemingly suspended in mid-air and held in place only by one single finger bridge from the backside. The dial is offset and also gives way to the watch's regulating organ, which is marked with a blue screw for the running seconds. The base dial is finely grained and finished with a dark grey tone, time red on a black zirconium oxide ceramic disc. This highly polished canvas is finished with a laser engraved and lacquered lines, minute track and Roman numerals. A touch of color is found at every third hour, and the hands are pike-shaped and filled with high ceramic, underlining the brand's willingness to adopt modern materials and innovation while being traditional at heart. And just like in its movement, all this is done in-house to a rather spectacular level. The striking rectangular case is machined in platinum, yet the brand also works with other precious metals and stainless steel for some watches. The case features the signature triple lug design and is finished with an onion-style crown and a black onyx cabochon, Art Deco-style ribbing in the caseband and scalloped corners. We turn to Alexandar Gutierrez-Diaz, CEO for Lang Heyne, to learn more about Anton's dial and exterior.
The Anton Manufaktur Edition happened due to the reason that we wanted to show one piece which shows all our craftsmanship, all our research and development of the last years. So in terms of movement, in terms of finishing, in terms of dial, all together in one piece. And in architecture, there was a second reason. Our iconic piece, George, has this very nice architecture in the back. You can see it in behind with the bridges, and you can see exactly how the movement works. And in Anton, which was launched 1 year later in 2019, the backside is beautiful, of course, but it was a little empty because of due to the reason that the tourbillon cage is on the other side. The balance and all this was missing on the backside, so it was a little empty. And we said, okay, how can we bring both watches together and to have all the assets in one piece? And that's why the Anton Manufaktur Edition was completely new designed and constructed. And it's a complete new movement. It means that's still an Anton, but it's a new Anton. And so that's why we have the Manufaktur Edition in terms of architecture design. Our customer can see the most of the watch, even from all sides, from front, side, open, back, and so on. And that's why we try to open as much as possible. That's why you have the feeling that the tourbillon cage is somehow flying in the case. That was one effect we wanted to show. We brought all our craftsmanship and experiences in terms of research and development with the dial in-house making together. That means we receive the rare dial plate, and we do the high finishing and the high polishing here in-house. And then we paint it by hand with a special bare lacquer, which is very consistent and very strong and beauty luck. And so all this together is something done here in our small studio, where also you can find our Champlivé and enamel dials. So the Art Deco case, which is available in the George and Anton, is for us, it's one of the signature pieces, and it's also a talking piece, and it stands for Lang Heyne. You know, the market is 95% of round cases, so this is just a very little amount of watches which are well known for rectangular cases. But in the Lang Heyne, we have a certain status right now. And if you have a look on the case, you have the free lux, which was initially just for security reasons to fix the strap properly. Now it becomes a design. And the second is, of course, the finish on the sides, the crown, the protection of the crown, which is really beautiful. So for us, the talking piece is really our rectangular George and Anton.
I can go on and on about the details in Lang Heyne and its watches, as it's watchmaking at the very highest level. A set of hands, for instance, can take up to a full day to make, and each bridge takes hours and hours to finish to perfection. The tourbillon construction takes a full week, from first assembly to installing it into the movement, and all this time, effort and attention to detail is reflected in every single watch, not just the most complicated pieces. The spectacular Anton Manufaktur Edition is one of the most complex and exclusive pieces by Lang Heyne. It's highly limited, as only 5 will be made at 160,000 euros. Despite its exclusivity, it perfectly demonstrates the brand's devotion to watchmaking tradition, and this can be found in every single watch leaving the manufacturer, from sporty to classy to ultra refined.